Hello, everyone. It is your girl Jordan,
And it's your girl Nicole.
and we are here for another episode of Playbook Diaries. Right now, I am out of town, so we are filming virtually.
Out of
We
town.
have some super interesting topics, but for the general consensus of this week's episode is that we're going to review some of the hot topics in sports at the moment. Nicole, why don't you go ahead and take over?
So it is an amazing time for sports. As you know, and as our viewers know, we support all sports, and it's a great time for all sports because women's games or women's college basketball games are averaging 981,000 viewers more compared to men's college basketball. They're at about 946,000 views. And I think that's great news. I think that's great news. If you love sports, you love the underdog story. And to me, this is the underdog story. Kind of.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I mean, who would have thought? As short as 5 years ago, who would have thought that women's basketball would be trending more than men's basketball? I mean, we're at a point right now in 2024 where a lot of the country can explicitly name active players in women's
Literally.
collegiate basketball, and we cannot name men's players. Not to talk down on the men's, but right now the
It's a
women's
shift.
basketball is the winner right now. That's the main focus right now.
No, it's definitely a shift. Like I remember being able to talk about like, okay, Jason Tatum. I remember him being in the league. I remember a lot of these basketball players being in the league and us seeing them progress. And I really can't even name one. And when it comes to women's basketball, I just really love the uptrend. I think it's because the great storytelling that's involved. I will say that, but I mean, I'm super, super excited. Just literally in 2019. 44% of participants in sports were women. However, it was women's sports only had like 4% sports media coverage. So like we're taking up 44% of the pie. However, people are only seeing 4% of us and we're only getting less than 1% of sports sponsorships. And then now 5 years later, we're just in one segment, of course, but we know how big March Madness is and everything like that. We're killing it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a
Yeah.
Cinderella story.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's like you
about.
mentioned, it's an underdog story, and the women's sports was the underdog. So to see us just like doing better and playing a more active role in media in every aspect, from broadcasters to active participants to commentators, it really is nice to see.
So we both know who the biggest women's basketball player is right now, whether we're talking about professional sports, I mean, whether we're talking about the WNBA, people who play overseas. Honestly, whether it doesn't matter what sport we're talking about, we know the biggest female athlete I would say right now in American sports. Let me be specific. Is Caitlyn Clark for
Yes,
sure. So, would you agree to that?
I would agree.
Yeah. So, do you think that the attention of women's basketball will actually transfer when she goes to the WNBA? So, how we're actually like paying attention to women's college basketball? People are talking about Juju Watkins. We're talking about all this stuff. Like, do you think it's going to transfer when she goes to the league?
You want me to be honest?
That's what we're here for. That's what we're
I
here for.
So off the top of my head, without getting knowing stats and stuff like that, I personally don't think it'll transfer over to the WNBA. I
Okay,
think that people's focus will remain in NCAA and remain in college, mainly because yes, Caitlin Clark is an individual, but she's garnered so much support and attention towards her program, which is Iowa, and the entity that she's currently participating in, which is the NCAA.
for sure.
I don't think people understand how hard it is to make um, an individual transfer attention, because now people are not only invested in Caitlin Clark, they're invested in the teams
Iowa
that
program.
she plays for Iowa and the league that it's involved in, and which is collegiate sports. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I just think it'll be difficult. Like take for example, Ezekiel Elliott was one of my favorite collegiate football players, played for Ohio State, and my team is the Cowboys, and it still didn't make me watch the NFL more just because he was playing for the Cowboys. Like I tried to, but I was still at that point I was more invested in Ohio State as a program
Yeah. You know,
and not the player.
you make a very, very good point. I'm really actually gonna have to disagree. I think that, and here are my reasons. Here are my reasons.
Mhm.
We are talking about Caitlyn Clark. We're not talking about Iowa. It's never Caitlyn. It's never Justin Timberlake and NSYNC.
Yeah,
Just Timberlake. We're
yeah,
talking about Caitlyn Clark, who most people, Iowa, hoorah to y'all. If the United States didn't have a name, no states were labeled, a lot of people wouldn't even be able to point where Iowa is.
yeah.
So I say all that to say, Caitlyn is a phenomenon, and I really do think that it's going to transcend very well. I think Asia Wilson. She played for South Carolina, and she killed it there. And I would say her fans translate a little bit to the Las Vegas Aces. And I think that Caitlyn Clark. I mean, we've never seen something like this before. Like she's freaking
All
lights
right.
out.
So my question to rebuttal that, my question to you is, who's the bigger entity, the NCAA or the WNBA?
That's a really, really good point. The NCAA
That's why
or
I
college.
just think that NCAA, like exactly. And I think because of that, that's why it'll be hard to get people to watch uh Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA. Now, I think what we'll see is like we'll see at the beginning of her tenure in the WNBA, people will try to tune into her games, but I do think it might take a decline as the season progresses.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like NCAA viewership with women's basketball might still be the same
You know what's
because you
crazy?
still have
My
also
bad.
Caitlin Clark is bringing attention to other incoming, freshmen. You have Juju at USC, and so like I think it'll just transfer players, but the attention will still be on collegiate women's
The
basketball
collegiate
for the
sports. For sure. I think that would be actually a great Instagram question or a great Instagram poll. Like, cause I can really see both sides. I mean, what if she continues to break records? I mean, that's the whole reason why people are tuning in. So if she breaks records, like, will that attract people to tune in? I can't see her not breaking records. I think this can all boil down to how she performs in the WNBA and if she's able to translate her skill and her talent is able to translate. She doesn't have to do any picking up. She hits the ground running once she gets to the league. But that's going to be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting to see. It's actually crazy because I was saying how in 2019, women's sports received 4% media coverage. Now, 5 years later, women's sports is getting on average like 15% total media coverage. I mean, 15% out of 100% is still crazy. But I mean, dollars is dollars. So I get it to an extent. But
Yeah,
it's an uptick in 5 years. I'll take it.
yeah. I mean, and that's a big increase for a 5 year mark. That's a huge
It,
increase.
it's a humongous increase. I mean, some people would attribute to just women are women just now beginning to have talent and that's why we're paying attention. I would say no. I would say if there were 10 TVs, I mean 4%, that means if there were 10 TVs in a room, not even one TV played women's sports. That means one TV and a fourth of that TV or 40% of that TV. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
They
I
weren't
get
playing
what
it at
you're saying.
all.
But I do think that because I was going to ask you, what do you think is the reason behind the jump in coverage over women's sports? And I think that it became more competitive. If we're talking specifically about basketball, women's basketball, you had the same two teams winning every year. That's not fun to
That's
watch. Like
that's
I stopped
somewhat
watching
fair.
the NBA when the Warriors kept winning. It's like, okay, this shit boring now. It's like,
Yeah, I
okay.
keep seeing it.
And so it's like UConn winning over and over and over again. It wasn't fun. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
we're all the top recruits are going to one school. All the seemingly like the best talent is on one team. You got five top 20 players on in one program. That's not fun. It doesn't create a sense of camaraderie Whereas
Hmm.
now, if you look at it, it's like you've got Caitlyn at Iowa, you've got Juju at USC, you've got Angel at LSU, you've got Michaela at LSU. It's just like the talent is spread around and these games are closer. It's not just like, oh, the score is 112 to 36. It's like, okay, we're winning and losing by 2 and 3 points. Like, this is fun. We're on our
Yeah.
feet. It's like, it's making your heart skip a beat. Whereas before, it's like, that's not fun watching a blowout. And I think
And,
that seemingly is the difference.
I can definitely agree with you with the whole idea of like it is becoming more competitive. I would say I'm seeing that across the board in general. What you're saying is right. I'm seeing that across the board in general. In the NFL and the NBA, and I'm seeing that like, dude, anyone can really win. We really don't really all the way know. Women's sports in particular though has just in all realms has just expanded like crazy. The National Women's Soccer League expanded by adding two teams in like the last like 3-4 years. Serena Williams was breaking records in 2022 with 4.6 million views for her US Open. uh, this might sound low to some people, I mean, compared to the NBA, it is low, but the Seattle Storm, they're the highest valued WNBA team at 151 million, at a net worth of 151 million, which is that's pretty sizable. That's larger than I would think. That's larger than I would
True.
think. It's a great day for women's sports. It's a great day for
Yeah.
sports. That's all I'm saying. We're growing and we're getting there. And if you say, in my personal opinion, if you say that you are a sports fan, I'm assuming that you're a sports fan.
Yeah.
Not
No matter, yeah, no matter the gender.
if you don't like it, then technically you are a subset sports fan. You tell me you're a sports fan, it's a great day for sports. So I'm excited
Okay.
about that alone. Also, in this year's Olympic, it's the closest that we've ever had in gender parity, having the same number of sports for men and the same number of sports for women. And we just got that in 2024. It's been a long time coming. Happy National Women's Day, Women's Week, Women's Month. It's a great day for sports.
All right. So on that note, I'm gonna switch over to the next topic. We're gonna go into men's basketball. We're gonna switch over to the NBA. I know that
The
it is a trending topic. This one we said we weren't gonna get messy in the podcast, but if you know
name is
me,
Playbook Diaries, though.
you know me, it's bound to get little bit messy. So for
Little
context,
dirty.
let me put you guys on game. So yesterday for National Women's Day, a what? How can we describe her? Miss Draya, founder and owner of Mint Swim. Past brand ambassador for Savage uh, lingerie wear by Rihanna, and former
Model
basketball, model, former basketball wives, not co-host, but what do you call it? She was on Basketball Wives.
for
Um,
sure.
she just announced a pregnancy. Not just any. What makes this different is it's not just any pregnancy. This is, I think, this is her third kid, her third child.
I
Um,
believe this is her second or third.
it's her second or third child, whatever. Drea is 39 years old, and she has announced a pregnancy with Houston Rockets NBA player Jalen Green, who is 22 years old. Uh, to add additional context, Drea's oldest son is also 22 years old. So she is having a baby by someone that is quite literally the same age as her son. And Mr. Jalen Green just signed a sizable contract, a $40.8 million contract, and is expected to make $9.8 million in his contract with the Houston Rockets. This is his rookie contract for this year alone. So off the top of your head, what are your thoughts? Social media has been raving about it being inappropriate. On one side, saying, she she just signed over. She just got her $1 million contract that she needed in child support. And then you have the other side that's saying, well, it's okay when men date women that are 20 years younger than them, but when a woman does it, it's an issue. What are your thoughts?
It's funny because it's twisted because yes, when older men, we see older men date younger women all the time. However, in those situations, they are the ones who tend to have the money, right?
Yeah.
But in this situation, this is an older woman dating a younger man, and the younger man has the money. I mean, she probably has some money. I mean, I feel like she's a six-figure earner. Is that fair? She's a six-figure earner.
Everyone on this call is a figure earner.
Yeah. So it's like
So
that
I
doesn't
would
even
think
matter.
with all of her brand deals, etc., she is also, I would, at the bare minimum, she is 100% a
At
six figure.
the you know, dude, I don't know. I mean, I guess city growth up. I don't know. I at 22, I mean, I think she took advantage of the situation.
Is she okay? So my thoughts, and I'm
She
just
took
gonna weigh a
advantage of
couple.
the situation.
I definitely think it was. I'm not gonna use the P word because that's a strong word, but yes, I think she definitely took aware of the circumstances.
What is the
Um,
P word?
I have
I'm
been
lost.
a very because the word being used on social media is like, oh, it's predatory behavior. Like you prey
Oh,
on that.
okay, okay,
I'm not
okay.
gonna take it that far and say I'm not gonna put that label on her. I'm gonna let everybody
Yeah,
think what they want to think. But I do think she took advantage of the situation because if you follow me on social media, I have been vocal about men dating significantly younger women, 10 years, 15, 20 years. But you have to take into consideration where that age gap is. It's like 10 years is not a big deal when you're 50 dating a 40-year-old,
for
40
sure.
dating a 30-year-old. That's a massive deal when you're in your 30s dating a 20-year-old because those are like very like critical years. And so to me, I've always said, I said 21, 22-year-old Jordan is
Yeah,
nowhere close to 25-year-old Jordan. And that's
facts.
only a 3 year difference. Those are very, very completely different people. I had a different mindset. I had different amount of money. And
It's
I
true
just had a
though.
level of just maturity. I had seen a little bit of just a little bit, 3 more years. Life gave me so much more context and gave me so many more resources. And so I'm just
Just
thinking,
1 year, dude.
yeah. So I'm thinking about 22-year-old me dating someone that's 39 years old. One, my parents would not go for it. And I
That's
know people in the
hilarious.
comments are gonna be like, "You're grown, 21, 22, you're grown." Look, I did not consider myself an adult until I was 25.
I would say
25 was when
25
I was
is an
like, I
adult.
am an adult.
I think 25 is a good age to say someone's an adult. I honestly really want to even argue 26, but 25 is just a good rap. It's a good number to
Yeah.
be like,
I
okay, that's
mean,
a good.
22 people are you're still in college most of the time. Me, not me. I
Yeah,
graduated college at 20, but most people are still
I'm fucking. I can do it. I can do it. I mean,
most
it was
people
fitting for the. I get it. You did.
Yeah. Most
You
people
did.
are still in college at 22, 23, and it's just like your total mindset and your view on the world is just so different. So then you take Drea's past history. She was a star on Basketball Wives, meaning she had dated other players. And I know that
This is
is
her
real.
lifestyle.
This is her lifestyle. So I do think that it was very intentional that she found interest in someone that had just signed a almost $41 million deal,
Let's get a
contract.
call. We should get a caller on here though to tell us what they think because I mean, of course, we have our own views. I want to see if like there's other people that have similar views or like what they think. Is this weird? Is this off? I mean, I don't really know. I think I think I think I think I can hear from other people to just see um and we'll go from there cuz I
Okay.
mean, she
Okay. Now for
that's her
context,
audience. That's her audience
for
though.
that okay, that is, celebrities are a little bit different when you're in that world and you kind of stay in that world. Very rarely are people like completely removed or detached from that
Come
world. So
on.
that is an audience, but like my audience is not. I don't hang around. 20-year-old men.
Okay, we have a caller on. Hey, what's going on? Maisha. Welcome to the Playbook Diaries podcast. What's up?
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having
Hey.
me.
So right now we are talking a little bit about this Draya Michelle and Jalen Green situation. And Jordan and I love to, go back and forth with our opinions, but we wanted to kind of get someone else's perspective. We're getting a male perspective and we're getting a female perspective on this situation. So you're familiar with the background, right?
For sure.
Okay, so what do you think about this 39-year-old who has a 22-year-old son having a child with a 22-year-old basketball star?
So, long story short, it's weird, right?
For sure.
And I think that, when we think about like, older men dating younger women and like, the whole sugar daddy situation, all of these different things, um, it's cool, it's whatever. It may not be identified as weird as this situation. And for me, it's weird because she has a son the same age.
The same
It's like, okay, be
age.
a cougar, that's cool, do your thing. That's cool. If you're a cougar, you can be labeled as that. But now we're talking about your son is the same age. That's weird. When you were giving birth,
He
your
was
new baby
born.
daddy was born as well. So it's like, it's weird to me. And so it's just like, I don't know. We think about like the whole Marcus Houston thing as well. Like I was thinking about
That's
that, just
true.
comparing like the latest thing that came out with these big age caps. He married like a 19-year-old girl or something like that. And it's just weird. It's predatory, just like, everyone is saying, and I agree with that. And she knew to turn them comments off. She did.
Oh, she
And
100%.
Check.
I mean, look, everybody right now wants to live their life in peace. Everybody is on the wave of this is my life. I'm going to do what I want. I don't want to hear what y'all got to say. If I was in her position and I decided to do that, I would do the same.
I feel
I
like
would
she's
invite
never
everyone to
chose
my
the
way.
peaceful route because, Draya
She never
has
goes the peaceful
she's
route.
never chose a peaceful route. She's an Instagram star, a reality show star. She's never been in a peaceful position. She's always been loud. So, when you go about doing something like this, you got to expect everybody's going to be just as loud as you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. And for her, her character has always been judged as flawed. Like, there's a lot in the media about Draya, like, being a bad mother, being a hoe, sleeping with a lot of different people, all of these different things. So her doing this really isn't outside her character, in my
It's
opinion.
not. I agree with you. I agree with you. I do have a question.
Yeah.
So on the reverse, if it were reversed and it was a 39-year-old man dating a 22-year-old girl that had just signed a $40.8 million contract, do you think that there would be such an outrage, or do you think that this outrage is specific on the gender dynamics at play here?
I think it would still be talked about as weird and for the ultimate reason of securing a bag, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially if the male was in a lesser financial position.
Yeah.
Or not even like on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like Dre probably got a little money, but she
She ain't
ain't
We
got
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 that.
40.8
nothing crazy.
million. Yeah.
She
We were
ain't got
talking
that.
about
You know what I'm
that. We were
saying?
like, she's
Yeah.
okay, probably.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
ain't got that for sure. She's sustaining in her condo in LA, whatever.
You know,
But I think that it would still be talked about. I think that, when women do things, we of course get scrutinized more than a man. I think ultimately it's just that women have a higher expectation of having a better judgment and better character than men. So when
especially with
we do the
children
same like
involved.
outlandish shit that a man would probably do, it's just like, damn, women are supposed to be better than men. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it's kind of looked at that. But for Drea to do this is not a surprise because her character has always been up for question.
This is on brand with her, is basically what you mean,
For
what
sure.
you saying.
Right on
This is on brand
time.
with her. I mean,
And she's also 39, right? She's been
yeah, she's
labeled
Yeah.
as a
30.
hoe. She
She's
has two other
39.
kids. she's just like, okay, I'm reaching the age where I need to go ahead and secure something.
Me
And
too. That's what I
nobody else
said.
is reaching for her because she's had a whole bunch of people at her disposal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they ain't back her for a reason. So she was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and bag this little naive little
Right?
21, 22-year-old
Okay.
kid.
So you used the word naive, and so I wanted to tap in on that a little bit because the whole, no matter what the gender dynamics are, I've always found it weird when someone is like, "Oh, I like," because men love getting on
Yeah.
podcasts.
I
Like,
like when they
I love younger women because younger women, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm like, dude, in our head, you're just saying you love younger women because they're easier to manipulate to get what you want out of a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. You date, like, if I see you serially dating significantly younger people, I'm looking at you like you can't handle no grown woman that can voice their opinions and can articulate their thoughts. And I'm not saying argue with you, but just sit there and go back and forth with you on, hey, I don't agree on this, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah. A younger woman or person at that is just more likely to take the back seat and just buckle down and say, okay, to keep the peace. And so no matter if it's a man or a woman that's the older person in the relationship, when you're dating significantly younger than you, to me, it's always weird because it's like I'm 28. There is nothing that attracts me about a 22-year-old.
For sure.
But well, why
Like,
can't
you
you
can be
one
fine as wine. You can be so fine. The moment I hear that you are 22, the moment I hear you're below 25, I'm like, yeah.
but why
Yeah.
can't but in this situation though, the younger person is the one that has money. Why couldn't he have wanted this? Because
He
in the
could
other
have, but he
situations,
still could be dumb and naive. He's naive.
Yeah.
And this is where I take the position on, you know what? If Draya can do that, because I know people on, like, I've been reading a lot of comments and people are just like, like, she's wrong, blah, blah. But in my head, at the same time, us being women that have worked in sports, it's like the NBA quite literally trains these men on how to
not
handle
to do,
situations
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
before they enter the league. It's called the rookie transitioning program, RTP. Every rookie has to go through it. So
Yeah.
it's like he's been trained on this. At this point, if Dre was able to finagle this, you know what? Cool. I'm going to say that's on mom and dad. Mom and dad, you didn't have serious conversation. Or I'm not gonna say you didn't. They just didn't stick. Because
Yeah.
if my son is going to a league, I am sitting down and having these very intentional conversations. Hey, son, you're going to be able to attain women that you haven't been able to attain before. Because you
From
have this
all
money, you're
ages.
opening yourself up to a whole new world of possibilities when it comes to women that would not look your way prior will start paying attention to you only because of that money. You need to do this, do this, do this.
I think that people, in addition to like, your parents building you and, correcting your actions and, just trying to guide you in the right
Mm-hmm.
direction, people really should start believing what they see.
Please, because we've
History
seen.
repeats itself.
Can we
Like,
please
we
pay
did we
attention?
not just see, like, I feel like in sports, whether it's NFL or it's NBA, there is always these really big stories about some kind of scandal that's going on. And this kind of situation has happened multiple times before to multiple athletes. And so when it comes to like an athlete getting dubbed on because, he chose to be with a fine ass woman and she really just with him for his money and got a baby up out of him. This You're not the first person this has happened to, or
And
the
that's why
Right.
I'm
last.
sorry. That's why I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I can't feel bad for him because you've had so many examples of what not to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's so many men in the league that have been like, the moment they found out he was dating Dre, have literally probably issued out an, hey, bro, watch out.
Oh,
Or did
definitely.
they?
Just like,
Maybe.
hey,
I think they did. I think there's no way that people found out that
facts.
he was dating Dre when it came out months ago, the pictures of them. And, men don't know how to shut the fuck up. There's
Oh
no
no,
way
they
they sat
gossip
quiet.
real bad.
There's no way they sat quiet.
They gossip real bad, and I think he was just like, "Oh, I got
I
one of the it girls of all time. Like
Yeah,
I'm
he
bagging
probably
this.
it's like y'all
yeah.
jealous, like y'all
I'm
mad she went
bagging
your
this
way.
for sure."
When the reality was is like the older guys knew better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They was
Yeah.
like, "We gonna let his ass be dumb. Watch, she gonna get his ass
Let him
pregnant."
learn his lesson.
That's exactly what happened.
I mean,
And
she just did an
it's just
interview.
like,
Well,
it's
it came
weird
out
because that
yesterday.
could be her son.
Yeah.
Like, dead ass. Like,
She just
it's
did
not
an interview
even.
yesterday. And someone explicitly asked her, like, do you see a future with the guy that you're with, Jalen Green? And she's like, I mean, it's just two people, he wanted a baby, I wanted a baby. I'm just like, there's no way that she just
No way. I didn't even
blatantly
see that.
straightforward was like, no, no,
Yeah,
I don't.
she actually put out a clip and said, well, they kind of, to me, they kind of tricked her. They were like,
They didn't trick her ass.
they were just like, do you, like they talked about her wanting a child and then kind of swiveled into a relationship. And she was like, the question was about me having a child. But yeah, she really didn't claim them. She was like, I'm very free spirited
And non-traditional is what she
and
said.
non-traditional, and it's just two people who want to have children, and that's just kind of what it is. I mean,
She already have children, so she want more.
maybe she
Yeah, that
won
was
one
Shit, she
more.
got two.
Maybe she won one more. Who knows? But that was actually crazy that I heard that, or we heard that, and she put out a video about that. But Maisha, thanks for telling us your take on this. Welcome to the Playbook Diaries podcast. We have another caller coming in. So we will catch you later.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all.
Peace. I mean, with this Draya situation, Jordan, I don't know. I think that I feel like he knows better. I'm gonna
He
change
did
my
know better,
answer.
and like
You just said
being,
he went through training.
yeah. And so it's just like, from a mother standpoint, I just feel like his mother is so pissed.
Oh, I would
Let me
be
not speak for
too.
her. Let me not speak for her. I don't know his mom. If I was the mother of an athlete, I would just do so much to try
To be in, yeah.
guide my son in the right direction into protecting his newly acquired assets, etc.
I feel like you're even being a little biased with what you're saying because you keep saying mother, like the daddy took parenting.
Well,
Everybody.
but sometimes like I didn't want to speak from a perspective that I will never be, and like probably like I just won't. I can't speak to that perspective. So.
New caller, new caller. What's up, Cisco? How are you doing?
What's going on? I'm good. How about y'all?
We're doing good. Right now, we're actually on a segment where it's a couple of we're talking about some NBA news. And so we're covering the Draya Michelle and Jalen Green situation. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar. How could you not be right now?
Oh, okay. So, like, what do you think? A 39-year-old woman, mother of, did we confirm one or two? She
Too.
gets she gets with, she hooks up with a 22-year-old who has a 4-year, $40 million contract, and they're about to have a child. I mean, is that cool? Is that fair? What do you think? What's up?
I think it's weird, but that's kind of Dre's bag, right? That's kind of where she's at.
That's
Okay.
why I blame Jalen. Because I feel like that's where she's at. Like, you knew the brand.
Yeah, he knew the brand. Now, did you see him last night? He went off last night.
He
So
did
that's all
too.
that
He needs to start renewing a contract because he's about to
So,
pay 18 years worth of child
he
support. Oh
has
my
a
God.
baby to feed.
as a fan of the game, I
He has
love it.
a family to feed. So you're just like, that's on him.
It's on him. Yeah, it's on him. I think it's weird. Reversed, it's weirder. I mean, when the man is doing it, it's really weird. But woman does
It's
it,
more
it's kind of new.
normalized.
It's new territory.
This is new
But it's weird.
territory.
It's definitely weird. As a parent, I would feel weird.
This is
Sure.
actually really new territory. I think that's the reason why it's news, because I think guys do this all the time. The difference is they're the ones with money. In this situation, she's not really the one with the money.
Not
So
really. Flat out is not the one with the money.
she's just
Yeah,
not the one
no.
with the money.
Normally,
She's not a max player.
the older person, there's normally some give and take. In the other dynamic, you have the older man with the money seeking the younger woman, fresh,
Follow
new,
suit.
fit, in shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you give some, I give some. It's a little take. In this scenario, it's the younger person, new, fresh, in shape, is also the breadwinner.
Hey,
Yeah.
the Rockets beat the Trailblazers yesterday, and Jalen Green dropped 27 points. So all he can say is like, look at the stats. Jalen Green, congrats to your expanding family. I wish you all the best.
That's
Please
crazy
be
transition.
sure to provide us your address, and we will for sure be able to provide you and the mother of your child an amazing baby basket. I mean, that's all I can say. I'm just gonna show love.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's happy. He's balling out. It's great for the game. I mean, as a consumer of the NBA, I can't be mad at it. I mean, hey.
All right. Thank you, Cisco, for joining us.
All right, y'all.
Appreciate
Bye.
you.
All right.
I
So
mean,
with that, we're going to. I mean, did you have any other thoughts on that?
I don't have any other thoughts. This sounds a little weird, but it's not a fight fire with fire. Sometimes it's refreshing to be like, dang, we the issue. Like, this is
Are we the
crazy.
issue? You talking about us?
Not me, but it's like it's not refreshing. I mean, there's always going to be juice and tea, but it's refreshing when it's like, okay, it's not the same story. This is a different take. Like, this is actually crazy. She is 39 years old having a child with a 22-year-old. Ridiculous. But I don't have any more tea on that. What's up? What's going on with you on your end?
Alrighty, so moving on to the next topic, we have a something I think is very interesting. We are now going back into high school sports. You know, we got a little
Crazy
mess
story.
down in Austin, Texas. So for those of you that have not heard the story the past couple weeks, there has been an incident at Lake Travis High School. If you are familiar with that name might ring a bell. Lake Travis High School is the same high school of our past Heisman Trophy winner and Oklahoma alum, Texas Tech transfer, Big 12 player, the one and only Baker Mayfield. So Lake Travis is in the headlines right now because they have, two players on the football, or three players on the football team. Apparently, there was some conversation about one of the boys being severely and deathly allergic to peanuts. And there was an explicit conversation about how allergic that said player was to peanuts, to where one of his teammates, right out asked, if you encounter peanuts, could you die?
Mm-hmm.
To which that player said, yes, I could die.
Okay.
And the next day, some of the players from that high school went in and grabbed peanuts and rubbed them all over his football helmet and inside of this player's uniform.
Oh my God.
Confirming that he was deathly allergic to peanuts. And so that's one part of the story. The second part is that the school, I believe, suspended those players for 2 football games, and to which, the parents of the student with the allergy is like, that's it? Like, that's not enough. Like, that attempted murder. I mean, people are saying it's attempted murder. At minimum, the parents were saying this is bullying at the highest form. Like, these aren't 9-10-year-olds. These are 16, 17-year-olds that are very aware of the concept of death and like what it entails. Like, it's not like you're talking to a 6-year-old and they're like not understanding that death means you don't ever come back. Like, they're grown.
They're grown.
They're very
So basically, you're on the stance of they intentionally did this. Like, what the heck? So, what punishment do you think they should have? Like, that's actually really crazy. So, he told them
expulsion in my eyes. You're over here playing with, like, we could be having a funeral had that player not had his EpiPen. He had his EpiPen on him, which he had to use. He had to use his EpiPen. So that's what saved him. Had that been a day he switched bags or backpacks, or his EpiPen was in his homeroom or was in his locker and not on him, it's like the results, we might be telling a different story here. In my eyes, that's attempted murder, but you're the lawyer. What are some of the implications?
I mean, I would say, as far as what the school district or what the school did for their punishment, maybe we just know that, they suspended them for 2 games. I can foresee a school just saying, because they're minors, we can't disclose how we're going to handle this punishment. They're probably trying to keep it hush hush. That's just me thinking about it from I guess if I was within inside management or something like that, they probably don't want to just say, this is what we did here and there. They're going to keep it hush hush. But to me, it sounds like intentional murder. or attempted murder. First off, I mean, they
I mean,
asked.
you explicitly asked, "Will you die if you get peanuts?"
Put
Yeah, and they're like, "Fuck it,
Boom.
throw them in there."
it,
Like,
put it on there.
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's
Okay,
actually
so
ridiculous.
let's take a little shift. Neither one of us are parents, but imagine being a parent and the school calls you and says that your child has just inflicted this on a child that they knew was allergic. What are your thoughts? How do
Can I
you
answer?
respond to that? I
Can
really
I
don't
answer
know how.
both sides? Both
Yeah,
sides. I guess if I was my child was the one who had peanut, who was the victim.
yeah.
I'm just gonna try to sue everybody. I'm suing the school district for negligence. I would probably try to pull cameras. Was this recorded? If it was not recorded, that is pretty negligent with the society as a whole. With how can you have a public school and there's no cameras around? So I probably first would try to pull cameras. It's possible they did
Well,
this in the locker room.
it was in the locker room. Ain't gonna be no cameras in the locker
Ain't
room.
gonna be no
I know this
cameras. Ain't gonna be no cameras. I would still go for the school district and go for those those players and parents. I mean, I really don't know, but I would go. I'll try to take some legal action if I was the parent whose child did that.
That's embarrassing as hell.
I'm
It's
not
like
gonna lie. I'm about to cop
my
out
child
and
tried to kill someone.
yeah, I'm gonna just be a cop out and be like, my child wouldn't do that.
That's your response.
That wouldn't be a product. That wouldn't be a product of me. I don't know what I would do. That's actually ridiculous. That's kind of scary.
That's scary. I'd be looking at my kid like, oh my gosh, what did I
I'm
raise?
scared. I would be scared. I would be scared to even discipline them. What are
For
they
some
gonna do?
context, the player that had the peanut allergy was at the time the incident happened was a sophomore playing on varsity. So he kind of cold. A sophomore playing on varsity at a Texas high school of Lake Travis's caliber. Like, they have a Heisman Trophy winner there, and they're notoriously going to playoffs. So this is not no small school.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one thing. And then the second thing is one of the players that, came up with the plan that they're, shaping as the person who orchestrated everything.
He must be good too.
He's cold too.
That's what I'm about to say.
As of last week, he had offers from, so as of 2 weeks ago, he had offers from University of Texas at Austin, Louisiana State University, LSU, I believe Ohio State and Nebraska. He just received a new offer from Nebraska last week. His University of Texas at Austin scholarship offer has been taken off the table, to my knowledge. There have been reports that they have rescinded their scholarship offer upon hearing the news of this story.
Good for them.
I'm not going to say either of the players' names because they are both minors.
For sure.
But I have located both of them on social media. I've actually had a conversation with parents from both players requesting an interview on the podcast. So hopefully we can get an interview out of one, if not both of them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But since the story has come out, the player with the allergy has transferred schools, obviously for safety reasons, because of, you don't want retaliation on your kid. It's like, these are the same kids that just tried to literally kill my son. I don't want them retaliating on my son further.
I mean, that's true.
I would have taken my kid out of there the moment I heard that happened. But
that's
yeah,
and crazy.
Schools, we're still in the time period where schools are still hearing about this, because right now this is local Texas news.
Yeah, I think this happened October, November, so it probably really started circulating more.
It just started circulating upon the school's response to not taking further action.
Yeah,
and that the mother is pissed, rightfully so. Is like, are you serious? Like 2 suspended football games and that's it. But I do see like further implications. I do see more scholarships being rescinded to the players who committed the act. I think it just might take a little bit of time for
it's a really.
I've only heard about it in Texas, and when I've talked to other people in different states, they're like, I haven't heard this story. But if you are able to locate the players in their Instagram pages, if you look in the comments
you see people saying things.
Yeah, people are like, oh, I mean, if you go to the University of Texas Instagram, people are in the comments saying rescind his scholarship.
Oh wow!
guys offered a scholarship like on random posts, and this was as of, I checked last week, and just every single post had some comment on it. So
Yeah, that's
that's
actually crazy. I mean, it's fair to rescind the players' scholarships. I mean, come on.
I just want to know. I just want to know your mindset. Like, I don't know who I want the interview from, or it's just like because I really want to know like what was going through your head.
I want the interview more. I want to hear the interview from the perspective of the victim's mom. I think that her take is a very valued take. I think that's a very to me that's obvious. That's a really big view. I want to see her take.
Yeah,
Or I would want.
I mean,
I would want to be. I would want to know her take for sure.
yeah, because there are like how some people are saying they would react and not react. There's definitely some cultural differences in reactions.
I mean, we know that. We know that. So I would like to. I would like to hear the mom's take. I think that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't even
But I
really.
would still love to hear from the boys. Like, I want to hear like you literally are a victim. You have to pack up all your stuff at the school system, like in the school system you were raised in. You and
Yeah, it's
I
true.
had the same school system. I was never the new kid in class.
That's true.
I just moved up to different schools. So to have to pack up everything because you're a victim of a crime and have to just start over at a new school, which I mean he has.
I mean, I'm still the star. He's still a star. He's still not the new kid. Like his random name is like not Jimmy. He sits in the corner. Like
Yeah,
he's a
but
new kid who's a recruit.
who wants to transfer their junior year?
It's true.
That
It's
shit
true.
sucks.
It's very, very true. I mean, that's actually really, really crazy. That's really crazy. The fact that even happened, teammates. I mean, they must have had it out for him. They probably thought it was a joke. Hopefully, not even hopefully. There's no excuse.
Yeah, I don't see how it could be a joke when someone says like, "Yeah, if this happens, I will die." It's not like, "Oh, my eyes will get puffy," or "I'll go to the hospital," or like, "I'll start itching severely." It's like, "Will you die from this?" Yeah,
Yes.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Do it. Bring the peanuts tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I try to keep what I say on here PG-13 and everything like that, but he will definitely have to catch a round or three. Like
Yeah.
he'll have to catch a round or three.
Yeah.
We
I'm
fight
just
on
glad I
the
don't have
spot.
kids, but that's scary. I mean, just that's scary to think that like kids are inflicting this on other kids, and it's just like, why? Like, why did you do that? But something just like so severe. But we're at 50 minutes. You want to start rounding up? I mean, we'll see you guys for sure. Next week we have a super interesting episode.
Tune in. Thanks for accommodating us, guys. We tend to be super, super busy. Jordan is out living her best life out the country, but guess what? We are still going to come strong every single week and provide you amazing content because you are tuned into the Playbook Diaries podcast where every story has a freaking play. My name is Nicole.
And I'm Jordan.
And peace out.
See you guys next week.